Welcome back to a K-Story Tales. If you missed our last episode, be sure to catch up before we dive into today's story. This is episode 3, The Day the World Stopped. It was a cold, crisp morning, and the air carried a strange chill that had nothing to do with the weather. Hachi, with his beautiful golden brown and white coat, felt it deep in his bones. Something was off. He followed his best friend, Parker Wilson, to the gate as he did every day. But today, Hachi's calm demeanor was gone. Instead of his usual quiet farewell, he began barking frantically, a sound of pure desperation. He ran in circles around Parker, his tail curled so tightly it looked like a spring, his upright ears twitching with anxiety. Parker, a kind and gentle music professor, was puzzled. "What's gotten into you, boy?" he murmured, a soft smile on his face. He watched as Hachi, for the first time in their years together, darted into the yard, grabbed his favorite tennis ball, and dropped it at his feet. Parker chuckled, adjusting the leather strap of his bag on his shoulder. "Well, look at that. You finally decided to learn how to play fetch, have you?" He bent down, picked up the ball, and tossed it playfully, but Hachi didn't chase it. He just stood there, his dark, intelligent eyes fixed on Parker, pleading with him not to go. He was trying to delay him, to keep him safe, guided by an instinct he couldn't explain. Later that morning, Parker stood in front of his students at the university, his voice filling the lecture hall with the history of music. The sunlight streamed through the tall windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. He was in his element, sharing his passion with the next generation. Then, in an instant, everything changed. In the middle of a sentence, Parker faltered. His hand went to his head and he collapsed over his desk. Panic erupted. Colleagues and students rushed to his side, calling his name, but there was no response. A sudden, massive brain hemorrhage had taken him in a heartbeat. He was gone. Miles away, Hachi's instincts had been right. The beautiful, unspoken bond between a man and his dog, built on quiet mornings and daily walks, was about to face its most heartbreaking test. As the clock tower chimed 5 in the evening, the train from the city hissed to a stop at the little station. And just like every other day, Hachi was there, waiting patiently on his concrete pedestal near the entrance. His tail was curled perfectly over his back. His ears stood upright, listening for that familiar footstep. His dark brown eyes scanned the faces in the crowd pouring out of the station doors. People bustled past, their minds on dinner and family, completely unaware of the loyal dog watching them. Hachi's gaze never wavered. He stared at the entrance, absolutely certain that any second, Parker would appear with his warm smile and gentle voice. But as the minutes ticked by, the crowd thinned. The platform grew quiet, and the evening shadows stretched long and dark across the empty tracks. The 5 o'clock train had come and gone. Parker did not appear. Back at the Wilson home, the world had shattered. Kate, Parker's loving wife, received the phone call. Her hands trembled as the devastating news sank in. Hot tears streamed down her face as she sank into a chair, a wave of grief washing over her. Their young son, Andy, who adored Hachi, clung to her side, his small face etched with confusion and fear. He couldn't understand the words, but he understood his mother's pain. Parker's brother, Ronnie, stood nearby, a silent pillar of support. His practical nature gave way to a quiet sorrow as he watched the family he loved fall apart. But someone was missing from this scene of heartbreak. Outside, at the station, Hachi remained at his post. His tail was still curled, his eyes dark and solemn, his ears alert for a sound that would never come. He was a statue of loyalty, refusing to leave even as the last light of day faded into darkness. Night fell, and the station grew cold and deserted. Hachi sat in the quiet, the familiar details of the place etched into his memory. The worn concrete of his pedestal, the cold steel of the tracks, the distant whistle of trains passing in the night. The wind rustled through his thick fur, and his ears twitched at every small noise, every rustle of leaves, every distant car. But he did not move. He was waiting for Parker. In his pure, devoted heart, there was no other possibility. He was unaware that Parker had passed, unaware that his wait was in vain. His loyalty was absolute, a silent, profound testament to the extraordinary bond they shared. Hachi's long vigil has now begun. One small, faithful dog, holding on to hope as the world around him moves on without a second glance. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to a K-Story Tales to join us for episode 4, where we'll see how Hachi begins his incredible years-long wait at the station. Don't miss it.